Amazing Ampharos here, and I'm about to jump in with a little more exploration in our favorite massive final dungeon, the depths. Now, I'm going into Final Fantasy V territory after this, and the game structures this differently than it did the 1 through 3 company. Because actually only 2 of the bosses are required to progress, and the other 2 are optional super bosses that would completely and utterly wreck me if I fought them right now. I will be fighting them before this playlist is done, but I'm going to go with a big discretion is the better part of valor on this one for now, and put them off until I have all the resources I get from the final dungeon. The 6th floor is actually the same way, with 2 mandatory bosses and 2 optional ones, so strangely these 6 optional bosses are easier than the 5 optional bosses, so this region of the world is the place I'm going to be coming to last as I finish this up. But for now I have to get through here the first time, and randoms hit like trucks, and I've set it to a really inconvenient lunar phase that powers up physical attacks. But that's because I'm not going to be given a free save point before the next boss. And none of the treasure around here is really any good, but I'm going to grab it anyway because I do crazy things sometimes. And otherwise, I'm just going to try to charge forward as quickly as possible. Now up here, I'm going to get an interesting piece of equipment in the Lunar Mail. The Lunar line of equipment is the basic armor set that gives the highest defensive boost of any armor in the game. But it can only be equipped by Lunarians, which means that only Gilgamesh in my party could equip it. He already has blue armor, so the Lunar Mail won't be helpful, but some of the other stuff might be later. And down here you might see Omega. There he is. I could go over and talk to him to do one of those optional boss fights I was talking about. And that would give you a good view of this game's game over screen in record time. So I'm going to not do that, because I would prefer to continue advancing. So part of the good news here is, even though these random enemies are really strong, this is about as strong as they get. None of the other enemies that get introduced later in the dungeon are any more dangerous than these guys. So, as you can see, I can deal with these guys, and it never gets any worse after this. There are a couple of unique enemies in the deeper floors, but they're on the same level. And the Cattle Gligamesh is a very good argument for why Eds should always have the ribbon. Because your whole party getting confused would be a quick trip to the game over screen. Even just coming back from that and actually fighting would just be so hard that good luck. And here comes the first one of those mandatory fights I was talking about. I believe everyone's equipment is fine. So let's jump into a boss that sadly does not carry his theme music, but it's still going to be a lot of fun for us. It's our old friend Gilgamesh, who, as you can see, hits really, really hard under this lunar phase. This lunar phase kind of is a double-edged sword for me, in that it's going to make my life harder, but it's also going to make things harder on Gilgamesh. I'm going to try to get Blink up on as many characters as possible while Edge begins spreading the haste around. So I would certainly like to have radio up. For now, he's not going to do anything other than physically attack, so it's pretty easy to mitigate. just keep drawing Blink up on everyone, and it doesn't really matter if the Lunar Phase powers up physical attacks if you cannot hit. And Gilgamesh has a ton of health, so I don't have to worry at all about triggering his next storm before I'm done by. Now that everyone has Blink, I need to get all my health back, and keep up this never-ending offense. I'm gonna have Kane berserk himself again because it's just too good not to do it. And from here I pretty much won. They'll use some special attacks later in the fight that can hit from Blink, but conveniently the same Lunar Phase that powers up the physicals that are doing so much damage for me powers down those special attacks. And with the power of Blink, he's never going to hit me with his physicals, so I'm pretty much completely safe right now. And now he's getting serious. And that's going to hit not hard at all because apparently that counts as physical. Well, that's fun. But I need to Spider Silk this guy again because he hasted himself. And throw another Blink up on Kane, and he's gone exactly nowhere with his big attack strategy. That was a jerk move. Oh, raise on edge. But down he goes, as he wonders where Bart's is. I guess we're supposed to imagine that he wandered his way here after he got banished to the void. Maybe this is just a trip along the merry road of Gilgamesh. And he dropped the Excalibur, which is this game's translation for the Excalibur. Of course, that's a fantastic sword that lets any character able to equip it do essentially no damage when they attack. So if doing no damage is for you, Gilgamesh really hooked you up there. But we're going to get to enjoy a little scene with Kane and Theodore that ends with them getting an incredibly powerful band that isn't going to do me any good as Theodore is sitting back on the Lunar Whale at level 21. This is actually pretty good character development for Kane we get here, as I don't believe Kane ever talked about his family in the first game. And yeah, Kane, Rosa still loves you. I have to note that Rosa shows more affection toward Kane than Cecil throughout this game. And while I can hardly blame her, it does make all the actions Kane's taken relative to her make almost a bit of sense. Oh well, I'm going to just save and quit here, and I'll be back next time as I go through the rest of the maze like Final Fantasy V.